So I said, Lin-Manuel, I can't just leave CBS Studios to go antiquing with you. I mean, some of us have to work, you know, but you know Lenny, he never takes no for an answer. Hey, oh, Dean Fiorito. Andy and I were just catching up on some of my work and, of course, my Emmys.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, he is riveted. You know, when you're amigos with some of the biggest names in the biz, some people just can't get enough.
You know, Andy doesn't speak.
Excuse me. Listen, Dean, I think Andy's kind of starstruck. I mean, we've been talking for like 15 minutes. He's been sweating the whole time. A-listers tend to make people nervous.
Actually, Andy doesn't speak. He's a thermal mannequin.
Yeah, he's really hot.
Well, actually, he uses modeling technology to replicate human physiology activities, such as blood flow, skin temperature, perspiration, and we use that to assess PPE for human performance.
PPE for human performance, right. That explains why he's been so quiet. Of course.
Actually, this is research that we do, very typical at FSU and across the ACC.
Got it, right. Of course. You the queen, Dean. Anyway, where was I? Oh, Lin-Manuel, right. So, as I was saying to Oprah, or was it Tom Hanks? They're so much alike.
Live from the campus of Florida State University, it's the 2023 ACC InVenture Prize. Join us as the Atlantic Coast Conference's leading innovators compete for $30,000 in prizes and patents. And now, please welcome your host from CBS Sunday Morning and NPR, Emmy winner and self-proclaimed super nerd, Faith Salie.
Thank you. Thank you, and welcome to the 7th annual ACC InVenture Prize, back once again on the campus of Florida State University. About a month ago, the ACC hosted its annual conference basketball tournament. The InVenture Prize competition is also full of talented students who could all be the #1 draft picks of tech companies. And surprisingly, 3 of our competitors can dunk. Our esteemed panel of judges received video pitches from each team, then grilled them in 10-minute virtual Q&A sessions earlier this week. Tonight, each team will get 1 more minute with our judges to answer one last question, or as many as they can answer in that last minute. At the end of our show, our judges will award first and second place prizes of $15,000 and $10,000 respectively. Of course, all of tonight's teams are also trying to impress you, the audience, because you get to vote for the People's Choice Award and send the winner home with a $5,000 prize. To vote for your favorite team, just text their keyword to 415-965-7445. Only 1 vote per texting device will count, and you must spell those keywords correctly, so watch out for the autocorrect. Voting opened late last week and will remain open until the judges are ready to announce their decisions approximately 50 minutes from now. Well, I hope you're ready for the future, because it's time to introduce our first semifinalist, presented in no particular order. The team from last year's winning school, Georgia Tech, has their finger on the pulse of the oximeter industry and are here to tell us how they'll revolutionize it. Let's learn about Team Pulse Oximates.
If you've ever stepped foot in a doctor's office or a hospital, or even just seen a medical drama, you've seen the little thing they put on every single person's finger. That is a pulse oximeter. That little finger clip has the important job of measuring your oxygen saturation percentage, which means what percent of your blood is carrying oxygen versus not. However, for a person of color, the melanin in your skin can interfere with a pulse oximeter's reading, possibly preventing you from getting a life-saving treatment. To a pulse oximeter, melanin reads like healthy, fully saturated blood, inflating your oxygen saturation reading and falsely giving you a clean bill of health no matter how sick you may be. More than 1 in 7 patients of color experience these false, dangerously inflated readings. That's 3 times as much as patients with light skin. And any patient with an incorrect reading has a risk of in-hospital death 70% higher than anyone with accurate readings. During COVID, people of color were at high risk of being incorrectly deemed too healthy for treatment in overwhelmed hospitals, and were sent home to let their condition deteriorate, leading to high risk of complications, poor long-term outcomes, and eventually death. Pulse Oximates aims to address this health disparity with our sublingual pulse oximeter. Our redesigned pulse oximeter reads oxygen saturation from under your tongue. The sublingual region is highly vascular, always core temperature, and free of melanin. Reading here corrects not only for skin tone, but for other things that cause incorrect readings like cold hands, nail polish, and poor circulation, making it more accurate for everyone, no matter their skin tone. We've been testing our device in cadavers in coordination with the anatomy department at Georgia Tech. Our data is extremely promising, and now we are moving forward with the calibration of our device for reliable and accurate calculations. If we were to win the InVenture Prize, we'd be able to use the funding to file our full utility patent and begin rigorous clinical testing and validation in diverse populations. The success of these trials would then allow us to submit for clearance with the FDA, go to market, and get our device out to hospitals and clinics everywhere to improve patient care outcomes. We believe our sublingual pulse oximeter can correct an engineering failure that has disparaged populations of color since the device's conception. Ensuring accurate measurements of oxygen saturation in all people, regardless of skin tone, will enable clinicians to make proper care decisions, select effective treatments, and save numerous lives.
While you were watching, our judges were seated, and I'll be giving each a formal intro soon, but first, they'll check the pulse of the Georgia Tech team. Shri, do you want to break the ice?
Yes, please. Great job, team. Can you describe your plans for product trials and validating customer demand?
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as we can file our provisional patent, or our full utility patent, we're going to move forward with our clinical trials. So the FDA right now only demands that pulse oximeters be tested with around 10 patients, with only 15% of those or 2 people with darker skin. So we plan to involve far more people in our trials, and we're going to involve much more diverse populations.
We get about 20 seconds.
Can you talk about the customer validation plan you have? How, for example, are you going to make sure that this doesn't interfere with the patient experience?
Absolutely. So we've actually been testing it with ourselves. It's no more uncomfortable for a sublingual thermometer. It's silicone, so it's rather soft and pliable.
And now your time has flatlined. I'm sorry, I have to cut you off. Thank you to the Georgia Tech team for kicking things off. And next up is Boston College, comprised of 3 ladies who have an eagle eye for innovation.
Hi, ACC InVenture. Thank you so much for having us, and we're honored to represent Boston College. An underrepresented category of health is indoor air quality, specifically mold. 9 out of 10 people breathe unhealthy air, which is the biggest risk for premature death. This is why our company, Vitality, is working on creating Spore, an at-home mold spore monitor which automatically and continuously detects mold spores in the environment, similar to a carbon monoxide detector. The main issue with mold is that it often goes hidden and undetected until homeowners begin to see mold growing or experience symptoms of mold exposure. Mold can cause or worsen pre-existing health effects, as well as trigger asthma episodes, allergic reactions, and fever-like symptoms. The average mold remediation costs upwards of $5,000, and these costs continue to pile with remediation, relocation, and healthcare bills. Our product, Spore, is a mold monitor that automatically and continuously detects mold spores in the environment, using a color-changing pH gel. The concept of Spore is very similar to a carbon monoxide detector, making it highly feasible to develop and manufacture. We designed Spore to be a sustainable, lifelong product aimed at improving our physical well-being, that in turn improves our health as well. One component of Spore is the pod. The pod contains mold-sensing gel pockets that will open monthly to allow for a fresh mold test. The LED ring changes colors to alert homeowners of the mold spore count. The ring changes between green, a healthy environment, to yellow and red, where a siren will sound alerting homeowners to call a remediation team. Currently, we aim to price Spore around $150, similar to carbon monoxide monitors that also use biomimetic sensoring. By focusing on the detection of mold, we hope to address the situation before it escalates, saving users time and money, and ultimately preserving their well-being. The typical response we get when we tell people about our idea is, wait, this doesn't already exist? No, there's currently nothing on the market which automatically tests for mold. Rather, they use lab tests, and we aim to cut out the middleman. Our target market is primarily homeowners, although we do hope to expand to have Spore in every home and public spaces such as hospitals, clinics, schools, and so much more. Help keep your home mold-free with Spore. Thank you so much.
Okay, I detect that the judges have more they want to know about Spore. Jim.
Great, thank you, Faith, and great job for the team Thanks for the great video. We wanted to see if you could tell us a little bit about the production plans for your key technology elements in your Spore product.
Yeah, that's a great question. So first off, we're starting off with our scientific testing. We're currently partnering with Kansas State University on that front. And after we finish our 3 phases of testing, we're going to move into MVP and prototyping, and then from there, manufacturing.
Who do you think will be your key supplier types?
Honestly, so for prototyping, somewhere that we've gotten a lot of help with is actually Boston College. Their recently new Schiller Institute, which deals with engineering, and they said that they would be able to help us out with creating our product and working on prototyping. Honestly, because we've been so focused on this lab testing, we haven't thought enough about the materials that we would need for the product.
And that's your time. Thank you, Boston College. I am always fascinated to learn how our teams find inspiration for their innovations, like the team from Notre Dame, whose drive to make a difference in the world started first by making a difference in his own home.
Hi, my name is John Sexton, and I'm the founder and CEO of LifeDrive, a startup providing alternative power wheelchair control solutions to individuals who can no longer drive their chairs with a joystick. When I was in 8th grade, my father was diagnosed with ALS, a progressive neuromuscular disease that slowly takes away your ability to move, talk, and breathe. Not only was the physical part of the disease challenging, but with it brought a loss of independence and decreased quality of life. When my dad lost the ability to control his chair with a joystick, we looked to other solutions to see what would meet his needs. But everything we found was either impermanent, invasive, or incomplete. And that's when we invented LifeDrive, a patent-pending system of alternative drive controls that allow individuals to fully control their power wheelchairs regardless of their static or changing needs. Our FDA Class 1 510K exempt wheelchair component provides eye, voice, and mobile joystick control solutions that allow individuals to drive their chair, adjust their seating position, and control every other aspect of their wheelchair mobility experience. LifeDrive's multiple control options make it stand out from the competition. When someone gets alternative drive controls, their provider has to make separate recommendations for neck, lung, and eye-controlled solutions. In comparison, LifeDrive provides multiple adaptable solutions with just one recommendation. And there are a lot of individuals who can benefit from that adaptability. Our total available market consists of 80,000 complex rehab power wheelchairs sold annually, and we estimate that a quarter of those need alternative drive controls. Using reimbursement metrics from our competitors, we estimate that we'll get $2,400 in revenue per unit, and given our background, we're going to target the ALS population as our beachhead market. Our team consists of a student engineering team, as well as a group of advisors that have experiential and entrepreneurial knowledge in the medical device field. This balance of technical expertise and medical device experience drives us forward. LifeDrive provides individuals who have lost their independence the ability to regain full control of their power wheelchairs. This solution has worked wonders for my dad and my family, and it will change others' lives too. So drive your life with LifeDrive.
Judges, winning the InVenture Prize would give more life to LifeDrive. What else do you want to know about Notre Dame's innovation, Laurence?
What a great presentation. I'd love to learn more about your full funding needs and your timeline to bring your product to service.
Yeah, so our product is in development still, but we're going through our regulatory and insurance reimbursement pathways right now. So we're looking at about 2 years to really account for breaking into the market in non-coded ways through insurance, so working with nonprofits and other medical centers, even people that are paying out of pocket, as well as accounting for a year to develop our full QMS and regulatory strategy.
Great solution. What are your top 3 cost components?
So the top 3 cost components really are all associated with travel to do installs, the actual board, the actual hardware that we have itself, and then just salaries for people that would be working on this. So it's not super expensive, minus the board and traveling to do the install. It's a relatively small board. So it's not anything that's too...
And that's your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, John. As you've probably guessed from their rather astute questions so far, we did not just pick 3 random people off the street to be our judges. So let's pause quickly to introduce each of them. Our first judge currently serves as the Vice President of Global Business Development for Rhizome Network. We're pleased to welcome back Shri Divakaruni. Hi, Shri. A first-time judge on our program, she's a managing director at AE Industrial with a primary focus on new business development and portfolio management. We are excited to be joined by Laurence Vigeon-Langlois. Hello, Laurence.
Great to be here.
And our third judge, returning for his second InVenture Prize, focuses his attention on accelerating climate solutions to market and recently served in the U.S. Department of Energy as the senior advisor in the Office of Technology Transitions, Jim Fritz. Hey, Jim. Our judges met this year's teams in extended Q&A sessions earlier this week. Tonight, they get to ask a follow-up. And they'll continue doing that right after we meet one of last year's second-place schools. That's right, we had the first ever tie for second last year. It's the team from Duke.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Scola, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sabor, the easy-to-use software to document and manage personal property for estate planning. I'm building this with my talented developers, Joseph Liu and Johnny Pesavento. The strong bond between siblings comes from core shared experiences, memories, and backgrounds. A strong connector among siblings is a relationship with their parents. Joyful memories comes from the happy times in these relationships, including weddings, birthday parties, anniversaries, and vacations. Oftentimes, these memories are forever memorialized in physical goods, including a vase from a trip to Europe, dad's old basketball jersey in the basement, or a book from a cross-country road trip. Fast forward some years and siblings losing their parents can elicit strong emotions and changes their dynamic. Commonly, emotion overwhelms judgment in dealings with the affairs of the estates. Siblings fight over the cherished property in their parents' house with a strong emotional connection. What should be a positive legacy turns into fights over items. This process is inefficient for attorneys, detrimental to families, and unpleasant for everyone involved. That is why we created Sabor. Sabor is an easy-to-use application to help families document and manage their personal property for estate planning. We allow a user to take photos of their cherished property, tell the item's story, and then collaborate with family to determine a recipient for the item. At the end of the process, we give you a PDF export that can turn someone's last wishes into a binding personal property memorandum. Our secret sauce is that people love to share stories, and our app allows families to interact and collaborate together while enjoying the process